tutorial today of how to make flowers in a cup. It could be a mug, it could be a glass, it could be any sort of container. I like using mugs because a lot of the arrangements I do are in the asymmetrical variety. I also just wanted to say, because it's important to say, that this is a weird time that we're in. And my hope is that in doing some flowers with our kids or just as adults, we can kind of combat some of the fear that we might be feeling. I know I'm feeling a lot of anxiety, but flowers are distracting to me. And flowers have been proven to decrease stress. You might be surprised that what you find at the grocery store is, it might not look real good in the wrap, but when you get it home and you cut it up and you put it in an arrangement, it's beautiful. I've even seen anemones at the grocery store at the bodega. So really all these flowers, maybe not the lisianthus, you could find at the grocery store. I would pick maybe 3 focal flowers, so maybe you could find some carnations, they usually have roses at the grocery store. We here I have ranunculus. Trader Joe's has ranunculus, I know. They have carnations. Mums are fun flowers to use. We'll be using some of those. But these flowers are brought to you today by Dutch Flower Line. Thank you, Dutch Flower Line, for moving along your blooms. Like I said, go get yourself some flowers, but also go out into your yards. If you live in an apartment, go clip something off the tree in front of your apartment, and then also collect some sticks. Now that you found your sticks and your flowers from the grocery store, we're gonna start with the sticks. Okay? This is a old let's see, pussy willow stick, I think. And so I'm just gonna cut it. Just gonna cut it into little pieces. And this is kind of a strange thing because usually I use chicken wire, but today, because I figured, you know, most of you probably don't have chickens or chicken wire at home, just guessing. So we're gonna use nature as our base. We're gonna kind of create a grid within the cup. So I'm gonna move my sample arrangement over here and show you how to make the grid for your flower arrangement in your mug. Basically what I've done is just cut up little sticks and sort of stuck them in there just to create something for the flowers to grab onto as we're designing them. And I had some old mums, like I said, lying around, and I think they create a really interesting grid. So you can do 2 things. I have cut off some old mums and turned it upside down and just placed the stem in as a grid, but I'm also gonna cut and use these mums at the very bottom of my base as low as possible. I'm gonna use that to also create a grid. And I'm really not using these mums as much for their flower, but really more for what their base is able to provide me. I've created a little grid here. I'm gonna pour some water, and it's okay if it's sticking out a little bit. Actually, you know, if you were using chicken wire, it wouldn't be great to have the chicken wire sticking out. I don't like using floral foam because it's so bad for the environment. So here we go. I have my little grid. Again, I wish these were a little shorter. They will do just fine. I'm gonna, since they're not shorter, I'm gonna move them over to the side because I want sort of this middle area to be clear because it's gonna be lower. As I said, we are gonna do some asymmetrical designs here. Now, this is gonna be a new challenge for me because I'm used to designing facing me, but I'm gonna try to face you. I'm gonna choose this as sort of my longer wing of the arrangement. And I always edit a little bit. You can pull the leaves off. This is eucalyptus. I did not find this in the yard. This is from our dear friends at Dutch Flower Line. And I'm gonna just plop it in here. I might need to work with the grid a little bit to prop it up, but as I add more flowers, this can become more sturdy. Okay, so you know what I'm gonna try? I'm gonna try to give it some length, and just an interesting design tip. I am gonna look and see how big my cup is and try to double that, and that will be how long I want this. So let's just try. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there for now. See what happens. Okay, so right now, again, I'm designing facing you guys. This is probably going to be the smallest part of the arrangement. I like to work in threes. One of my favorite floral resources is Team Flower. I really learned so much watching their videos, so I also recommend watching them, some of their tutorials as well. I am going to, let's see, that might not work. I'm gonna place something large over here and then something smaller over here. I want this side to kind of equal out this side, or balance out this side. Turn this around, even though I know the Lazy Susan is literally for spinning around, but I think asymmetrical stuff is more interesting. And we see a lot of asymmetry in nature. Like if you go outside and look at a tree, a lot of times at least I will notice asymmetrical values in like the trees and the plants. It's really fascinating. I love it. So what I'm doing right now is just filling in with some of the eucalyptus that I have, the other parts, like sort of some of the blank parts, and adding to the grid. So I have my shape with the greenery, and then I'm using like the little greenery to just sort of fill in the blank parts and add to the grid, like I said. All right, so I'm gonna pick this up because I don't know if my husband's iPhone is getting all of this, but shape, see how the shape is kind of like whoosh, a little bit? For me, it always helps to have a mirror. So whenever I'm working on an arrangement, I hold it in front of a mirror, and it's weird. I can like see things I cannot see when I don't have that mirror. Very interesting. Okay, so what is looking more like the front? Sometimes I like the wild and weird stuff. Okay, this is an anemone. Not an enemy, but an anemone. I have trouble saying it, obviously. It is a beautiful, beautiful flower. I truly just love it. It closes up at night, or at least it did for me last night, and then it opens back up during the day, which I think is like so weird and fun. It feels like yesterday when I was in my apartment, I was like, wow, there's living things among me. And besides just the human beings living in this house. Focal flower. I would say an anemone doesn't have to be, but I'm going to use it as a focal flower because it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. I think you will find that they're at Trader Joe's these days. But if you can't find an anemone, a tulip will do. I've never seen a poppy at a grocery store, but they're one of my favorite flowers. You know what I'm going to do is just kind of clip this a bit. See what happens. As you're clipping, you obviously want to use safe scissors, which I forgot to mention at the beginning. Please be safe when you're doing this because like these scissors are not great kid scissors, but really you could cut any of these flowers with regular scissors or even kid scissors, I think. It's so easy to want to make your arrangement sort of flat like this. I struggle with that. I used to struggle a lot with it, but you want to pull your flowers out, like they're reaching for you, sort of, because that way your flowers will really be talking to you, and you can kind of place these in a line. Now, it's not bad. I'm gonna grab this anemone. It's not bad to have a flower that's more back in your arrangement. Actually, you kind of need that to create depth. You want it to follow sort of like if you were connecting the dots, you would want there to be sort of this implied line. I know you kids out there have played connect the dots. Just connect the dots in your line. look at these tulips. Again, Dutch flower line, thank you. I love the shape of tulips, so I'm gonna let them kind of flow out of the arrangement like such. You might want to pull them back a little bit. I find it nice to work in threes if I'm working in a mug. So I'm going to put probably a third tulip in the vase, maybe up here, or maybe down there to kind of balance it out. Anyway, sorry, I just added a ranunculus without telling you. Ranunculus. This is a carnation. I forgot to mention. Okay, when you bring your flowers home from the grocery store, put them in water, give them a fresh cut, put them in water pretty much immediately. And then when you're ready to watch this video, after you've done some foraging in your yard, you can, and you get your mug ready, then you can just pull them right over to you and start arranging. I have like a front of the arrangement and the back of arrangement, because often our arrangements we put on a table, maybe against a wall, but if you're not putting it on a table against the wall and it's going to go like in the middle of your dining room table, which I would imagine a lot of you have, it actually is a good idea to design both sides, like not to just make one side full, because you want to create some balance. And right now I need to start working on this back side here. Okay, so I'm gonna put this carnation in the back and just see what it does. Maybe I'll make that sort of the focal flower in the back here. I am just really into carnations lately. I'm gonna pull out the middle here. My friend Sarah Gregory was dreaming one night, daydreaming, night dreaming. She was telling me that she was thinking about plucking out the middle of a carnation. I think it's a fantastic idea because it sort of changes the flower. It makes it look like, you know, is this the carnation, not the carnation? It's just beautiful. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do is to sort of balance the anemone that's coming back out here. Because the anemones are kind of going this way, so maybe the carnations could kind of go this way. Okay, so what I might end up doing too is, because I'm wanting to leave my middle more blank, and I don't feel like this anemone is in the right position, so I'm just gonna move it over here, see what happens. Wow, my grid is really getting full. You know what, if you don't have a mirror, which would be a really unique situation, because I feel like mirrors are a pretty common household item, I would take a picture of my arrangement and just see, 'cause sometimes that helps me see, oh, what am I missing? So I mean, you could be potentially done. I do think you could add something to pull out the color a little bit. Down here. Alright, I just added some hyacinth here at the bottom. This is my little coffee mug arrangement. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you have a fun time doing this by yourself or with your kids. Feel free to email me at grace@flowerclub.com